The longer this season goes on, the more it seems that this year's title fight is going to be between the two McLaren teammates, Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. The two have dominated so far, taking 7 wins in 9 races, and missing out on the podium just twice between them. With Ferrari failing, Red Bull struggling, and Mercedes not improving enough, the papaya team appears unbeatable. A lot has been said about how the title battle between the two will unfold, and Lando Norris has now opened up about how he sees it happening. Today, I'll check out what Lando has to say about fighting his own teammate, his mentality in the battle, and how the team are handling the two. So don't go anywhere. McLaren ended 2024 as the strongest team on the grid. Norris might not have been able to make an impression on Verstappen's championship lead, but the team were on the rise, they were Constructors' champions, and Norris was the man leading them. Everyone expected McLaren to start strongly in 2025, and they did. It was also expected that Lando Norris would be the man making the most of that strong start. There was a good reason for that as well. Once the team were competitive in 2024, it was Lando who took the title fight to Verstappen, was quicker much more often than not in qualifying, and won twice as many races as Piastri. Come the season opener this year, and it looked like everything was going to play out as planned. Piastri pushed Norris hard in Australia, but it was the Brit who qualified fastest by 8.5 hundredths of a second, and from there he drove to a race win, though McLaren making Piastri hold position probably had an impact on the outcome, as did the Australian's trip into the grass late on in the race. That first race is as good as it has gotten for Lando though. 8 races later, and he's only won once more, while Piastri has picked up 5 race wins. The Australian also leads in qualifying by 7-4 if you include the sprints. And where it matters, in the championship standings, Oscar leads by 186 points to 176. Norris says it has maybe not been the perfect or dream start, but he also says he's still happy with his performances so far. It's been the start that is needed in order to fight for a championship, he says. That can't be argued with. In championship terms, 10 points is nothing with 15 races remaining in the season. Piastri's upturn in form is one of the stories so far this year. Everyone knew he was good, that much was obvious from how calmly and professionally he adapted to Formula 1. He didn't explode onto the scene in the same way someone like Hamilton did, or Verstappen when he joined Red Bull, but his Kimi Raikkonen-esque calmness hides some incredibly impressive driving skills. He perhaps flew under the radar for his first 2 seasons, but when asked whether Oscar's performance surprised him this year, Lando said, "I wouldn't say so. If I was on the outside, 100% I would agree. I'm not surprised, because I know the kind of driver he is. I know what he's capable of doing. I know the talent he has. And I guess I see it more than anyone else. I'm the guy looking at what he does with his feet and with his hands and how he drives the car, and I'm able to give probably a more accurate answer than anyone else on the outside." Piastri's rise this season has created a problem for McLaren that even they probably weren't expecting. Norris might say that he knew that this was coming for Piastri, but there was no one at the team predicting it before the season began. Zak Brown and co. would have been planning on Norris taking the lead in a title charge, with McLaren targeting both championships. Last year we saw how this might have played out. The two were left to fight it out in qualifying, and come the race they were free to go at each other, but the racing had to be respectful. Above all else, the team was the most important thing. Nothing could sacrifice the result for the team. They could battle between themselves for first and second, but if they were ever at risk of losing second to somebody else, the fight was off and it was time to work together. This is what happened at this season's opener in Australia, when a wet track made Piastri's attempts to pass Norris dangerous. He was told to hold position until the track dried up and it became safer to race, and that's what he did. It's a team that is built on respect and common understanding, and so far it has kept any egos and individual goals in check. Lando explained how a joint understanding of each other and the overall goal of McLaren means he and Oscar have so far kept it civil on track. "I think it's because I'm a great teammate," Norris jokes, before he goes on to say, "Even though your teammate's always your biggest competitor, and the guy you want to beat and need to beat more than anyone, I've always wanted to have a good time and have laughs and make jokes and enjoy my life. That's what I'm here to do at the end of the day, enjoy my life, and want to do that together. We are different people, different characters, but both guys who know deep down we want to beat each other, but we also want to enjoy our journey. Perhaps McLaren have somehow managed to luck into the only two drivers in Formula 1 who are willing to put aside their championship aspirations and just have a good time instead. It could have happened. The two could just be living their best lives. But as the season progresses and the championship battle starts to come down to the wire, the team have to be prepared to handle a battle that will quickly heat up. And McLaren team principal Andrea Stella thinks he has the way to make that happen. McLaren team principal Andrea Stella has laid out a plan of action for McLaren to ensure that there isn't the kind of inter-team battle that has caused some teams so many problems in the past. Think Nigel Mansell and Nelson Piquet, Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost, Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso, Hamilton and Nico Rosberg. Racing drivers by their nature are selfish. Sooner or later, the pursuit of the individual goal takes over and the relationship ends up going sour. Usually as a result of some on-track incident, sometimes just through the intensity of the situation. But Stella has a plan to try and make things different at McLaren. But before I talk about that, if you're enjoying the video and want to catch all the news and analysis from the Canadian Grand Prix this weekend, then make sure to press the like button and subscribe to F1 Reverse. Thanks a lot. So the McLaren team principal has urged Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri to be open and vocal about any concerns stemming from their internal team battle. The Italian boss of the team is keen to ensure that a potential rivalry between the drivers remains healthy and constructive, rather than damaging McLaren's broader ambitions as a duo vie for the driver's title. The call for transparency comes after a recent incident at the Spanish Grand Prix, where Piastri described Norris as cheeky after Norris appeared to benefit from a tow provided by his teammate in Q3, leading to surprise and confusion from the Australian driver. However, any irritation that Piastri felt was quickly put to rest when he beat the Brit to pole position by 0.2 of a second before going on to win the race the next day. Stella insists that having two competitive drivers fighting at the front is not a problem. He said, "It, speaking about the qualifying situation, was a minor situation. We always tell our drivers, don't leave anything in the back of your mind. Anything, throw it out. Say what you think." For now, Stella's plan of airing it all out seems to be working. Piastri and Norris have been respectful on track. They've worked together when needed to, and when they're able to, they have raced each other. Norris knows his place. He knows what the team needs from him, and at the moment, he sounds happy doing it. "I'm employed by the team and I have to drive and race for them," Norris says. As a number one, it is a constructor. That's what we have to win at the end of the season. But then there's the individual championship. Everyone's seen plenty of championships as teammates turn sour and go in the wrong direction, and that normally leads to many things, like a domino effect of things starting to fail. And that's what we don't want. We know we still want to race. We're free to race against each other as individuals, but we also know our sole purpose is to race for McLaren, the team, the name we race under. And that's something we're both very proud of doing. The real question surrounding McLaren is how long will the respect for the team and the greater goal last? Are Oscar and Lando going to continue playing nice when there are 10 races left and just 10 points separate them? What about when it becomes 5? Surely a point will come when one or the other decides that getting the Drivers' Championship title is more important to them than keeping harmony within the team. Instead of asking if a conflict is going to begin, perhaps the question should actually be when. But what do you think? Will harmony remain within the team? Or are we just one incident away from a war breaking out? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and until next time, drive safe and bye for now.